Ari Rabin Havt is with us. He is a senior fellow at Media Matters, co-author with David Brock of the Benghazi Hoax, a new ebook. And Ari is also the host of The Agenda, weekdays at 6 a.m. on Sirius Progress, channel 127. The website, of course, MediaMatters.org. Ari, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Thanks for joining us. So you have written this book, The Benghazi Hoax, that people can find over at Amazon.com as an ebook. It's a 99-cent ebook. Do you have versions also for Barnes & Noble and Apple?
They're putting those up now. They actually just take technology being technology. Certain companies put up things quicker than others, so those will be available in the near future.
Cool. Okay, so the book is available over at Amazon right now, and it's called The Benghazi Hoax. Benghazi, of course, that city in Libya where a Foreign Service officer died, and his two bodyguards, and 4 Americans died. Tell us the story of first of all, what happened at Benghazi that we need to know about in a capsule, and then how did it get turned into a hoax?
I mean, Benghazi is truly an American tragedy, and the tragedy is 4 Americans, Ambassador Chris Stevens, Sean Smith, who were both State Department employees, Ambassador Stevens, of course, being the ambassador to Libya, and then 2 security contractors who were former Navy SEALs, one who was stationed with the CIA in Benghazi, the other who was actually on a rescue team that came to Benghazi to help get the survivors of the attack out. Now, as this attack is going on, Mitt Romney and his campaign issue a statement instantly politicizing this attack, and thus begins the Benghazi hoax. The attack is a real American tragedy. The hoax is Republican attempts to convert tragedy into political gain.
Now, from where I remember, Romney doing that and then being criticized for it, and then kind of backing off, and then trying it again, and it was one of his perennial things. But it seems like the real water is being carried by Darrell Issa. Do I have that right?
Yeah. So Mitt Romney really starts this off. But as soon as he kind of does a Mitt Romney, i.e., flip-flops 3 times between 6 separate positions, Darrell Issa picks this up as he's finally going to get the administration. And
right.
His cohort, Jason Chaffetz, on his committee, also kind of takes this under his mantle, and they're going to get the administration. And here's the thing. There are very real questions when an attack like this occurs that need to be answered. We need to make sure our diplomatic facilities are safe. That is a completely legitimate area for congressional inquiry. That's a constitutional duty, in fact, of Congress to hold the executive branch accountable in those situations. What's not a constitutional duty is attempting to make sure to go get the executive branch, to go on a witch hunt, to insist that all the evidence which suggests this is a tragedy, one which the Accountability Review Board, which is a legally mandated review process, comes back and says, here are 29 things we can do to prevent this in the future. And instead of saying, let's make sure the State Department is doing all 29 of these things, what that report didn't say was impeach Obama and Hillary Clinton is guilty. So then that report gets thrown out, and they don't care about actually preventing these attacks. This has been a witch hunt.
Right. Now, Darrell Issa, my recollection, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I don't know if your book goes into this. I just bought it online about 20 minutes ago, so I'm looking forward to reading it tonight. But my recollection is that Darrell Issa is either the richest or second richest man in the House of Representatives, that he made his money selling car alarms that he now has manufactured in China, that there was an allegation that he had been involved in car theft and that he had burned down a warehouse to get insurance money to help start his company. And, that's still kind of hanging out there. He has been arrested, apparently. I mean, this guy has a fairly dicey background, or am I mischaracterizing him?
Look, I think we don't really get into it that much in the book. We describe Darrell Issa as one of the wealthiest members of Congress and his car alarm business, but there have been a number of shady incidents you've gotten into, and I don't think you're mischaracterizing them.
Okay, so I'll stand with those. You don't get into that in the book, but why is Darrell Issa playing the role of a modern day Joe McCarthy? I mean, is this entirely political? I remember, when he took $1 million of his own money and was apparently collaborating or when Gray Davis was governor of California.
Oh, he desperately wanted to be governor at that time.
Oh yeah, and he threw $1 million into taking down Gray Davis, and he thought he was going to be the nominee. But what he didn't know is that Arnold Schwarzenegger had been having these secret meetings with Ken Lay at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then Schwarzenegger comes out and because Ken Lay had been doing these brownouts in California, which is what led to the end of the Gray Davis administration. And when Schwarzenegger announced, Darrell Issa in public broke down in tears. This is a very political animal here. When he was denied that, he's now in charge of this very powerful committee in the House of Representatives. Is he pulling a Joe McCarthy, or is he just a really diligent investigator?
Well, I think the comparison to McCarthy is really interesting, and I think here's what's interesting about it: the Benghazi scandal in general, what Mitt Romney tried to do, what this is all about for Republicans is proving something they think about Barack Obama, that he's the other, that he sympathizes with terrorists, that he's a secret Muslim. And while Darrell Issa will never make a comment like that, if you read the undertones of why would Barack Obama be sympathetic to terrorists, which is the undertone of, that was the overt tone of Mitt Romney's argument, but has been the undertone of this entire investigation. You pick that up very clearly, that this is not just about tragic American deaths and preventing them from ever happening again. This is about casting the president as anti-American.
Well, in this Foxosphere, it's that's fairly cleanly answered by a couple of simple declaratory comments that are actually true. That President Obama's father was black, was from Kenya, and was a Muslim, and case closed, right?
Right, and this is, if you look in my last book with David Brock, The Fox Effect, we got some internal emails from Fox, and one of the most shocking ones to me occurred after Barack Obama gave his speech in Cairo, where internally the head of the Washington's news division, this guy named Bill Salmon, not a Sean Hannity, not an opinion person, a news person,
right,
sends an email around the entire Fox headquarters. And we got this email, and I looked and I was like, this is shocking, saying Barack Obama didn't mention terrorism once in his speech. And that became the meme on Fox, right? Barack Obama won't say terrorism. He goes on an apology tour. I mean, Mitt Romney's book was No Apologies for a reason.
Right.
This is all about casting him as being friendly to terrorists. So why, when Americans were under attack, did Barack Obama not send in the troops to go get them? Well, that's the answer conservatives believe.
But in fact, he did send in troops. You said one of the guys who died was there to rescue the people who were under attack.
Yes, there was a team sent from Tripoli, first of all. Second, that night, troops were being repositioned all around the world, being flown to staging bases in Italy, being repositioned throughout the Middle East. And don't take our word for it, two other authors who are not Democrats get into this in their book, Benghazi Under Fire, about these troops being repositioned around the world that night, and the capabilities of the U.S. military, which have been discussed. The fact is, every single person in Benghazi who was affected by this attack was evacuated within 12 hours. Every single person affected by this attack was, including the bodies of all the dead.
Wow.
Every single person affected by this attack was out of Libya, flying to Germany within 24 hours. That's not leaving people behind. That's success.
So in the Foxosphere, they've just completely lied and distorted this thing, and Darrell Issa is continuing to do it. Ari Rabin Havt, Ari, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Tom.
The book is The Benghazi Hoax. Hang on just a second, I'll give you more information.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
It's The Benghazi Hoax. It's available over at Amazon.com as an ebook right now, and of course at MediaMatters.org. You can find out more about it. Ari Rabin Havt and David Brock are the authors. We'll be right back.